This is Internet Marketing.
So I'm here with Vlad, Head of Partnerships, and Dmitrii, CEO at Netpeak, and we're going to be discussing lessons in crisis management from a Ukrainian marketing agency. I know a lot of listeners, particularly in the organic search space, in the technical space, the technical marketing space, will probably be familiar with the name Netpeak, as well as an established agency. Netpeak are also a software company, and they have around 350 employees around the world, but particularly based in the Ukraine. I actually debated a lot today the topic of this podcast and how we would approach the subject, because I didn't want to dramatize for the sake of listens, for the sake of clicks, what's happening in Ukraine. But as I reflected on the situation, I thought, well, actually, our goal in this podcast is able to bring lessons to Ukrainian marketers, perhaps Ukrainian businesses in the short term, that will help them. And for any businesses and marketers that are going through less extreme forms of crisis management, perhaps there are lessons that we can learn there too. Firstly, Vlad, Dmitrii, thanks for coming on the podcast. Do you want to take a moment to introduce yourselves to our listeners and just describe a little bit about your roles at Netpeak? Maybe starting with you, Dmitrii.
Yeah, sure. Hi, Scott. First of all, thank you so much for having us here. It's highly appreciated. So the Netpeak agency established back in 2006 as a performance marketing agency. Nowadays, I guess we are transformed into the group of companies, and we started doing our own products, including, as you said before, Netpeak Checker, Netpeak Spider, and other software. So we became a group of companies with a lot of employees. For now, it's about 900 people working in Ukraine, basically. Me personally, I was in school when our business was started, and I think I took all the way from the beginning, being a junior to senior executive, chief executive officer, and many things. Just being there, many challenges, etc., etc.
And yourself, Vlad?
Yeah, hi Scott, thank you. And if we're talking about me, so I've joined Netpeak 6 years ago as a sales manager, and now I'm head of the partnership department. So main aim of my department is creating a network with companies from all over the world, mostly from Ukraine, with whom we can collaborate, deliver different projects, create partnerships, work with clients, like we deliver digital marketing, and our partners can help with web development, implementation of technical tasks, and so on. So our main aim, like a partnership department, was to business of our clients and also to help other small and medium companies from Ukraine to find new customers, to enter new markets, to help them to find appropriate way to how they can develop themselves.
And are you both based in Ukraine?
So right now I'm based in the western part of Ukraine, and we've got several offices in Ukraine. The headquarters of the company is in Odessa. The second biggest office is in Kharkiv. It's my native city, and I had to relocate from Kharkiv because it's really hot right now. And there are lots of missile attacks and artillery shelling. And the third office of the Netpeak agency is in the capital city in Kiev, and it's a little bit safe right now, and we've got some guys who came back to Kiev, and they are working right now from the capital city.
Yeah, I'm originally from Odessa, and I had a vacation back in February, so I had no chance to return to Ukraine, and I'm forced to be in Germany right now, and being here and doing all my best to improve the business.
Yeah. And so how many employees do you have that are based in Ukraine or that previously were based in Ukraine? And how many of them are still in Ukraine at the moment?
I would say that first of all, before the invasion was started back in 24 February, many Ukrainians, we didn't expect that things went into the full-scale invasion, full-scale war. So actually, we got a 3 basic scenarios to relocate people, but they all was like a volunteering. So if you want to be in a different places in a different city or maybe outside of Ukraine, we can help you. But most of people decided to stay in the same places they had to be, and I guess right now about 25 or maybe 30% of employees are outside from the cities they live in, and 70% of the people they're still in the same places, in the same towns they live in.
I assume that this all had to be done remotely, and you were communicating with everyone remotely because everyone was based in different places. How did you manage that aspect, just the logistical aspect of speaking to so many employees in different places?
Yeah, I'd say that we were prepared for several kind of scenarios. So our first communication has took place on I think like maybe 2 or 3 months before, and we tried to do our best to help people in understanding what things they will need in case of full scale invasion. It was we made a guide, and people and employees, they knew what they should bring to themselves, like a special bag, passports, many other things to help themselves. So our first communication took place before the war. But yeah, when the war started, we made a Zoom call. It was a remote Zoom call when we informed team what we're going to do next.
And were you both managing those calls? Was it you two that were at the heart of these calls with employees? How was that managed?
I would like to add that, first of all, we've got like a diversity of middle managers, the C-level, and it was also the duty and of the like team leads, guys of the heads of department to communicate with their teams and to be involved in the process of helping guys in such difficult situation. So everyone was on this meeting. The founder of Netpeak Group, Artyom, he arranged this meeting. We, Dima and I, was also involved in this meeting. Other founders and partners took part. And then we, when the invasion started, we tried to find guys who were like psychologically strong and who can operate in this difficult time, and they were like heads who helped other guys with relocation, with provided all the necessary information. Each day we had like not just a Zoom call, but in Telegram or in Signal groups where all the guys passed information. How do they feel? Where they are? Are they safe? What are their plans? So I think the first weeks of invasion, our main aim was not just going on with the business, but helping all the guys from Kharkiv and Kyiv especially to move to the safe places. And we created like a volunteer groups, not just 2 guys, me, Dmitrii, or just the C-level guys. Mm-hmm. We're operating in these actions, but lots of employees did their best how they can arrange. For example, we need to relocate 10 guys with their families from Kharkiv right now, so they are going to find the bus. They are going to find this guy is going to find the manager on our side who can help them to get money, to get paid for this bus, to find somewhere where we can get the gasoline and so on, to find the safe place where we can park this bus and collect all the guys. So the greatest point that in our situation, in Netpeak situation, the greatest value is our team, and everyone did their best to help other guys. So relocation was not just the successful story of the C-level of the agency or C-level of the group of companies, Netpeak Group, but also it was a great success and a great efforts and a great job that was done by the employees on different levels.
You used the phrase psychologically strong. So it sounds like that some people in a crisis scenario are maybe able to remain calm in some way and provide a level of leadership to the rest of the team.
Yeah, I'd say that in case of psychological support, just before the war, we hired several managers who has psychological education, so they had ability to find out who is in a war state or who is not prepared to work well in the next days or weeks, and we had the ability to work with that kind of people separately and to have groups of people, to have a conversation groups in order to express opinions, to show emotions. And yeah, I'd say that I think this is the best part you can do for employees, for your team, because I'd say basically you can't guarantee them anything because you can't stop the war right now. So that kind of emotional support is the only one thing you can guarantee them, and you can help them.
When the threats of war turn into invasions, or you knew you were on the cusp of war, you had already made decisions, I guess, based on information that this might happen, to recruit people into the company that perhaps could deal with very stressful situations like war, a psychological difficulty that wouldn't have been experienced previously. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
I'm trying to imagine myself in your position, thinking what you don't want to do is you don't want to, I guess, allow people to communicate in a way that actually causes more anxiety, more stress, makes information difficult to follow. And you want to make sure that your messages and messages to one another are really clear. How do you do that when you've got 300 plus staff interacting with one another? What did you do?
Well, I guess there are two levels to answer that question. The first level is the tools or instrument level. And I think as an average company, they use a lot of instrument allowing us to communicate properly with the team. So basically, because as you all know, COVID, just like we learned from COVID, that they can use a Zoom for video meetings and Telegram or Signal for messaging, some kind of presentation tools. But I guess that the essential thing here is not in tools, but a way we do it. So speaking of team, first of all, we established a group of psychological support, as you said. Second one was we tried to make groups for role-specific jobs, like all marketers communicating in the same group, all project managers communicating in the same group, etc., allowing them to share their experience. The good thing we also innovated was we invited some of the Ukrainian media person to our groups in order to allow people to get an information from the first eyes, like from news medias, from the media persons. And I think this allows people to calm down their anxiety to some degree. And for sure, many kind of language groups to learn something, to learn language, that things, I think they moved the attention, the people attention from the anxiety from the war to role-specific things, to language, to self-development, self-improvement.
And you mentioned about 70% of your staff decided to stay within the Ukraine and not relocate. What were some of the reasons that people gave for not relocating?
Yeah, I think it's complicated because it's related to. I guess that many people have their hometowns, have their apartments, renting on their own, and you have to allow them. You have to allow yourself to think that maybe you're not gonna see them again. And me personally, as a displaced person, and my immigration was not my conscious decision. I would say that that's definitely a very tough decision. But as far as I can see, people, I think we tend to exaggerate news. So basically, for example, people living in Odessa, they are unsafely because there are rocket missiles, rocket airstrikes. But instead of that, things are calm. So in some cities, people, I think they can see the war. They just maybe can live their normal life to some degree. So that's maybe a decision I don't know. But anyway, the thing I do know is that most of the people who were displaced or moved or relocated to other countries, most of them would like to come back to Ukraine once conditions allow them to do so, or once war will be stopped.
You mentioned that you went through this relocation process at the beginning of the war. Have people had to move around during this war as well? So have you had to relocate people multiple times?
Yeah, I guess we some of the people were relocated several times. We also provide support for relocating between the cities and between the regions of Ukraine. And yeah, I think this is like the basic thing right now when you can't find an apartment in one city, so you have to decide and go to another one.
We've talked about logistics maybe there for employees and some aspects of emotions and the decisions that have to be made. You know, I'm thinking about this and thinking there is so much there, and there's so much that you're helping people with. You're dealing with emotions, feelings, stresses. We haven't even discussed business yet. So what are some of the first steps that you took within the business, maybe with clients? Can you remember some of the first things that you had to communicate to clients, and what were they?
Oh, yeah. I guess that first days of war were really disastrous, so I can't even remember the consequence and the queue of events. But what I do remember is that, first of all, we communicated to all the clients via email and told them that many of employees and teams are in safe places. So if you guys need kind of support or changing your advertising companies or something like that, we can help you. Of course, we shut down many of ads campaigns, especially in Google or Facebook, because for the first month of war, people literally stopped anything. And right now, we continue the communication on a monthly level. So it's basically consists of one-on-one communication from client to project manager as well, and communications from marketing. So right now we are establishing a webinar for clients, for expert clients, and we want to try to show them that today is it's a really good way for Ukrainian companies to go abroad and doing things like that. So yeah, I think that continuous communication is a key resources to support your clients as well.
Are most of your businesses, most of your clients, are they based in the Ukraine?
If we are talking about Ukrainian clients or clients who operate their business in Ukraine, I can say that before the war, nearly 70% of our clients were operating their business in Ukraine. So you understand that 24th of February, we lost approximately 70% of our clients in the agency. And also, I would like to add about communication. So in the first days, we had not just to communicate with clients about their project, their business, but also we need to be strong and take some additional responsibility for their projects, because you understand that, for example, in Kharkiv or in Kiev, lots of clients they lost their team who were also relocating somewhere. You do not have a responsible person on the client side who can answer your questions, and you need to make a decision. Okay, we are going to stop. We are going to make some additional things. We are going to save some data for them, and so on and so on. So our guys, especially project managers, internet marketers, specialists from SEO, PPC department, did their best to till the final moment to take all the responsibility for the client's projects. So after that, lots of communication was about, okay, guys, we did this or that. We inform you about that. We moved on with some special tasks, or we just stopped these things for you in past 1-2 days or past week, and so on. And of course, in the first weeks when the invasion started, lots of communication with clients was the same like with our own employees. Do you need any type of help with relocation? Do you need any type of help with inside your city to move from your city to have some medicine and so on? So everyone in Ukraine did their best to help each other. And the business questions was, I think, till the middle of March or even to the beginning of April on the second stage. It was not so important for lots of people.
But you talked a lot about what you were communicating about, but not how communication maybe changed. Did you notice anything different across how communication was different between clients, employees, maybe even yourselves? You're dealing a lot more with emotions, with feelings. It sounds that there was a lot of unity and compassion. Was that the reality? What changes did you notice in how people were communicating?
Yeah, the one natural thing I noticed, this is weird and funny, but we made a chat with our biggest competitors in Ukraine, and in the end we started to exchange opinions on some topics, and actually we haven't any communications for years, I think, and that comes to, I think this is really this is support your statement on that people became more emotional, supportive to each other, and they wanted to help each other. So that was a very natural and great thing to me.
You know, you mentioned that business kind of conversations about business largely paused for a period. Ad campaigns stopped. I'm sure that impacted things like revenue, contracts. Was there any government level support for businesses? Did that take a while? How are businesses surviving? Because I imagine there are lots of businesses that just went out of business. So did you have clients that just went out of business completely? How are you managing to retain employees? Are you just taking a revenue hit at the moment? Maybe talk me through that revenue side of things and how business can just continue to operate at a financial level.
At the beginning of the war, we lost, I guess, about the first days was really distress for us, and we lost about 80% of revenue. So clients just stopped paying for services. Right now, it's really better, and I'd say we are on the level of 65% of our commercial load. Our main decision was not to fire many of employees or cut the team or do essential cost cutting. So we just decided to eliminate some kind of bonuses, some kind of additional percents, and all the things that was not related to our main motivation, to wages. We, as many companies, we do have a lot of amount of we prepared for a war, so we have ability to work with a negative cash flow, with a negative net profit, and our main goal is to right now working on zero with no profit, but to allow people to work and to allow them to have ability to cover the essential things for living. So I think it will be the same steps. That will be the same steps we would use in the future. So basically, no fires, no cost cutting for employees, but some kind of reducing and working on zero margin.
Has it triggered any change to the business model that you consider for the future? Are you debating perhaps like whether to launch new software products and to spend more time? And I say that because of the logistics in perhaps running a software product, subscription as a service might be easier perhaps than running an agency logistically. But yeah, has it triggered any change to business models that you're considering for the future?
Yep, of course, there are lots of changes due to current situation. First of all, we already got some software products which are inside of Netpeak Group. So me and Dmitrii, we are talking about the business of the agency, and the 300 of employees, more than 300 of employees are in the agency. And as Dmitrii mentioned before, the Netpeak Group, it's 14 companies, also some software products, some like call tracking system, loaning platform, and so on. So the number of employees in the Netpeak Group is more than 900 of guys. And if we're talking about the business of the agency, of course, the first step was to find some new clients on foreign markets. So what we did, firstly, we get the contact from our current clients, for example, like we operate with Vodafone, and we in Ukraine. So guys, can you help us with the contacts from other departments in other countries? You know our services, you know the quality, you know our team, but we understand that we can't operate right now, for example, with you because you are not interested in the SEO or PPC services right now due to the war. So can you help in this way? And the same with other big clients. So it was the first steps. The second step we understood, and it's one of our new models, and how we get the contact of the site visibility. So we are looking to help other agencies, especially in the UK, pretending to be the trustful and helpful partner, where you can get some out stuff, guys, because we've got the capacity. We would like, as Dmitrii said, to keep all our team inside Netpeak, not to fire anyone, because guys are the main value, because all the business of Netpeak is built with these specialists, and everything depends on their level of speciality. And I would like just to repeat that they are the main value of our company. So, okay, we can help other agencies with our expertise, with our experience, with our services to enlarge their business. Okay, I know that the demand for the digital marketing services in the West, in Europe, is really great. Lots of companies are looking for agencies, and even in some companies, I know that customers can be on hold for 2-3 months before the agency can stop working with them. And okay, why they need to wait for this? Why, for example, agency needs to look for some specialist to hire him for 3-4 months? Or, okay, we can help you right now, because you can get some specials from Netpeak agency. So and they will work on your side with your clients and give the expertise up to your team. So we are ready to share these, like outsourcing, outstaffing partner. And it was also the change of our business. During these 16 years of development of Netpeak, we were just like a project-based agency. We communicated just with clients. We built our big team to work with the medium and enterprise business. But according to the war, as you asked, we changed our business model, and one of the departments, especially my department, is working with other agencies in Europe, especially in the UK.
It feels like a good time for you to just explain a little bit more about what Netpeak can offer. So, if you're looking to collaborate with agencies, or even if you just want to discuss some of the software products, you've got an opportunity now to do it. So, what services are Netpeak specialized in delivering? Feel free to just talk them through and let people know where they can contact you if they want to contact you about those services.
Thank you for this opportunity, Scott. I do really appreciate it. And if you're talking about the services that Netpeak delivers to customers or to other agencies, first of all, we are really good at SEO. So after these years of development, we created our own tools like Netpeak Spider, which is the analog of Screaming Frog. We created SERPstart, which is something similar to SEMrush and Ahrefs. So we are really good in technical part of SEO, and our also products, which are independent businesses for our Netpeak group company, can also help other agencies. So it's the first service. The second one is we call it PPC, but in this meaning we are talking about all the types of paid traffic, so search advertising, social media advertising, some programmatic, and our guys can help with all the types of paid media, paid search, and so on. So we are ready to help with this one. Also, it's really good that we had an opportunity before the war to work with other companies. And for example, we bought a small company which was called Red Esso and involved them in our processes. And this company has really great expertise in promoting mobile apps. So they're really great in promoting apps, especially in App Store. And, one of my favorite cases is that guys helped a startup from Ukraine. And I think maybe you know it. It's Reface, where you can change your face for any celebrity, and with help of our service, of course, it's a great product. We help them to be number one in the entertainment niche in the App Store in the United States and one of the most competitive markets. So expertise of our ASO department is really nice one. We've got lots of services. Also, it's a web analytical, it's social media marketing, it's email marketing. But if we are talking about the core services which can be helpful in the UK, it's SEO, it's promoting of mobile apps, and all the types of paid traffic.
We'll link to your websites and all the websites for your software in the show notes so people can access those. I do have a couple of questions before we close out this episode, though. As we were exchanging emails about this episode, there was one phrase that really stood out to me. It fascinated me. I don't remember who said it, but it was something along the lines of, despite the war, we haven't lost our expertise and passion to learn. And I just thought that was a fascinating statement, because my assumption would be that self-development, learning would be the last thing on my mind when you have these kinds of things happening. So I'm interested in self-development and how that's been over the last 6 months or so. Have you changed anything in the company related to self-development? Have you noticed anything in employees related to self-development? I'm just really interested if you can elaborate on that phrase a little bit and show me tell me what you're seeing.
First of all, that in such difficult situations, self-development really helped lots of our guys to keep on moving, to struggle in this situation, to keep their mind clear. you've got an opportunity for you. You lost 70% of your portfolio, 70% of your projects is on hold right now. You relocated to the safe place, and what kind of thing that you can move on. So you can read lots of news channels about situation in your city, in the country, how the war goes on, about some missile attacks. Or you have an opportunity, and it was supported by Netpeak. Okay, guys, we open all our courses. We also got a company, Netpeak Group, that is called Choice 31. It's like about our mission, and I can tell it a little bit later. And this company provides courses for the guys who would like to switch their profession to enter digital marketing. And there are SEO courses, PPC courses, courses of B2B marketing. And we said, guys, it's usually all the employees in Netpeak had 15 or 20% discount for these courses, because it's independent business and it needs to earn their income to be profitable and so on. But we said for all the guys in the Netpeak group, you can get all the courses for free. So please start if you are interested in anything. It's the first step. The second step, we arranged some clubs according to the interests of the guys in Telegram, like channels, groups, where they can share their ideas about books. They can share their knowledge and create like a speaking club in English and other ones. Like make it like a game in some apps where we can create a whole group of Netpeak agency and to get information about the progress, how guys are learning English, for example. And that was also like help them to be inside this process. Someone might makes more better, have some better results. Okay, I'll do my best to be on the first place or be in top 10 and so on. So it also was like a gamification process. The third step was that we understood that our expertise is really great, but we need to learn a lot to be competitive on other markets, because some cultural things, some way of creating the content, some way of how SEO is provided on your market, it a little bit differs. So we need to do our best to be also competitive, to bring profit and be helpful to other agencies and customers. So it also made our guys like a challenge. Okay, we need to know something new to be competitive. We would like to work on these markets. We would like to bring profit to our partners. So we need to change ourselves. We need to find the way how we can deliver better services. So it also was a part of education and rising our expertise.
I think one more thing I want to add is that we changed our attitude to entrepreneurship, because now many people hired employee, they do their own duties and have their specific responsibilities. But after war started, we managed to create a lot of new services, particularly in Ukraine, a lot of new things, which run by many of employees. And the original desire was to start their own business. But now, since they have the time, we like to start it on their in a company. So, for example, we created a project which called "How Are You" for the Ukrainian businesses who are seeking help in performance marketing. So one of our employees had decided to do that project, and now the companies they can submit requests, and they can be chosen from a short list to get our help for free. So that kind of project and many other projects they were run because of war, I guess. So people want to kind of have their own business or consulting skills as well.
Just in closing for this episode, so it sounds, the word stability feels really strange to use in this context, but it feels like 6 months on, you've found a little bit of stability. You talked about getting revenue back. You talked about having plans for the future. You have the ability, some ability to help relocate employees, and some employees have relocated. Is stability the right word to use? Have you found some stability, and how are you feeling about the future?
I think I'm not sure the word stability is something we'll be looking for next month or years. Me personally, I decided, as you know, many of companies from United Kingdom, from Germany and other European countries, they are using Ukrainian IT software development services and outstaffing people. So my vision is, and the goal which drives me well, is I'd like to create an opportunity for Ukraine and for Ukrainian people to have great jobs in Western countries, to have good salaries, good wages, and I'd like to build an outsourcing hub for performance marketing in Ukraine, and make Ukraine well-known country, not only for IT specialists, but also for marketing guys and for performance and digital marketing as well. So I guess for me, that kind of goal drives me and allows me to do my job.
Yeah, well, I think that's a great goal. And I think that hopefully podcasts like this one can bring a little bit more awareness about why that goal exists and then how you're going to achieve that goal. So I really appreciate you both spending some time with me today. If there are any other ways that we as marketers can help, or marketing agencies can help Ukrainian businesses, particularly Ukrainian marketers or Ukrainian marketing agencies, what can we do? Where can we find you?
So if we are talking about help, I think that our main idea, while we are looking for partners and new customers and looking for creating a partnership with the agencies and marketers in the United Kingdom, so it ought to be a win-win strategy. So if you would like to help us, so it's a sharing of knowledge, it's a sharing of ideas, it's a sharing of way how can be helpful, profitable, and convenient for you to work with the Ukrainian colleagues, and what kind of expectations, what kind of services, what kind of expertise is needed on your market. And it will be really great to share such knowledge. And from our side, of course, we are not just trying to deliver our services or to be an outsourcing or outstaffing partner. Each time when I meet a new agency, I would like to say that I'm really grateful to all the people in the United Kingdom who are supporting Ukraine. And from our side, from the side of Netpeak, we are ready to share our knowledge, to share all the processes that we've got in Netpeak, to share our way of development, how company was created 16 years ago, and now we are the biggest agency in the Ukraine. What we use, how we develop, what kind of learning, managing, and other processes. So please do not hesitate to contact us, and please, we are ready to share this knowledge to make our collaboration helpful. And how to reach us? Of course, you can find us in netpeak.net on our site and leave a request there, or just to email me on partners@netpeak.net by email. So we are ready, and we highly appreciate any kind of collaboration and each opportunity to communicate with the colleagues from other countries. So this is the idea.
I've just remembered one question as well, because you were talking about self-development and you mentioned about learning of English. You mentioned about working with people from the United Kingdom and other locations. So has it caused more people to need to learn English, or were you learning English anyway? I don't know how that works in the Ukraine. Is it like the natural second language?
In Ukraine, usually it's lots of people, especially the young one in school, they are obliged to learn English,
Right.
but it's going to be the second language in our country, and of course you need to learn it all the time and to practice your English. That is why you just can't graduate from school and say, okay, guys, I've got a C1 or I'm a native speaker or something like that. And of course, when you do not communicate with other countries, with customers or partners from abroad, you forget lots of your knowledge. That is why it's a little bit challenging right now for me and Dmitrii, because for a long period of time, we did not have a lot of opportunities to communicate with other agencies and other customers from UK, United States, or other countries. But right now we're improving, and all the guys in Netpeak are learning English and trying to get the higher level.
I would make an obligatory law to learn English as a second language. After Ukrainian, of course.
Thanks. It makes me feel very lazy. I know a little bit of Spanish, but I don't know any Ukrainian yet. But what I do, it's funny because just before we started recording, you were saying, maybe you're worried because English is your second language. And I just want to let you both know that your English is great. I understood you. You communicated your messages really, really well in the podcast today. So there are no worries there. And I really appreciate just you saying that and taking the extra steps to learn English. It's something as English people, when we go to other countries, I think we really take it for granted. So I really appreciate anyone else that's learning English. Everything that we've discussed today will be linked to in the show notes. Vlad, Dmitrii, all that I want to do is say thank you for coming on the podcast today, sharing these lessons and experiences. I've learned a lot. I hope our listeners have learned a lot too, and I hope there's ways in which we can help each other. This has been the Internet Marketing Podcast. Take care.